All right, Holy Toledo, man. Make sure we're good and going here before I start talking too much about anything. Had that one audio error on my other stream. And it looks like we're going here. I'm gonna be started here in one moment. Let me just make sure I got everything on here before I even. Yep. All right, we back on Planet Zell, man. I'm gonna talk a little Cleveland Cavaliers here. I only talk the sports once in a blue moon. I'm not gonna sit here and act like a super sport head, but I have been watching the Cavs all season, so I feel I can do a little bit of a playoff preview here. Let me just edit some things real quick here, and then I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna just do this in a video. As a video, rather. 1 second here. This is not going to be an official podcast episode, so it'll just be, but it'll be in the podcast playlist for sure. Just a regular video, any topic video, do my Cleveland content here once in a while, because that's my sports team and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Gotta rep the land, buddy, I guess, Yes, sir. I got everything set up here. You know how it is, man. It's Planet Zell. If you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself here. I ain't about to be farming for clips, I'm gonna have a clip here, a clip there. I'll just do them later. Because I'm about to do this rival stream after this video, and I got to do a little bit of research here, because last season I didn't look too much into what was going on that season, so I didn't know they had all those ultimate changes where the ult's charging a lot slower. All those things considered, I'm like, am I a fraud, bro? I'm stuck in Plat 3. I didn't know what was going on, so I'm going to watch a little video. Then I'm going to get on the stream after this video. So I got to make sure, I know what I'm talking about here, because, out here, they have a drastic update, and you don't look at the patch notes. Patch notes are everything. You don't look at those patch notes, you're going to be clueless, brother. You're going to be clueless. But yeah, I got my stuff all set up here. So basically, when it comes to basketball, man, sports in general, right? These guys are getting paid a lot of money, right? And, so for me, in the real world, it's not that interesting. But, like I said, I've been watching a lot of, I watched the Cleveland sports, and, I've been watching some Orlando Magic this season. I know they got JT back in Boston, so we're sweating on our palms. I don't know, because I'm from the angle of Cleveland. It's not like some, corny mainstream media that doesn't really watch the smaller markets. They really just end up watching New York or LA, whatever. So I feel like I can, talk some mess about the Cavs, man. I think this season, they're blown out of proportion. We're talking about Cavs championship or bust. I don't know about that, brother. I mean, you gotta be realistic. It's a good team. I like what they did. I mean, I like Darius Garland. Shout out to Darius Garland. But, he too little to be with Donovan Mitchell in the same front court. And, because Donovan Mitchell's just better. And, he too little, he too injury prone. I get why they made the move. Now I'm wondering, I think James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and Jared Allen are untouchable commodities on the team. Not untouchable. Anything is possible, right? I'm not some kind of diehard. Why would you trade a player ass, person? But anything's possible, right? So, I like the move they made. Really, I do like James Harden a lot. I think even though he's older, let's be honest here, he's bigger than Darius Garland. He's stronger than Darius Garland. He can play better playoff defense than Darius Garland, just because he's just, and he's not an injury prone. Knock on wood, right? So I like James Harden a lot. I like the move. I'm not gonna talk about these things. I talk about sports once a year, brother. Like it's not that serious for me. So I like to sum up a little bit before I get into the playoff preview here. But I like the move. I like the move. I think it was a smart move, right? Good front court. Him and Donovan Mitchell. They know how to pace the game. They know how to play the game. It looks a lot more savvy now. Darius Garland, too small, a bit too sped up on offense at times, and I think very different point guard. Not an ideal. I can see the difference, in how it's playing out. His style was fine. It's just he was too small to really fit, and I think his speed and lack of size really did contribute to him getting injured. Because not only do we play too fast, in my opinion, like for me, I'm an athlete too, right? Like. I'm not some tiny guy. I'm, like 6 foot. So I play basketball all the time. I jog, I lift, all of these things, right? Plain as hell. We got to stay fit. This is Cleveland. So I think being about the same size as Darius Garland, I think he definitely plays a little too fast. Coupled with, him being beat up in the playoffs, it makes no sense. So, for us, James Harden gives us a shot, right? He gives us a shot. But I still have question marks on Evan Mobley. I think, obviously, we know what Donovan Mitchell is. We know what he does. We can respect that. I know what Jared Allen is. I know what he does. I can respect that. But Evan Mobley is the only question mark because, I don't know. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it, right? But I think if you had to trade one of the big four, if we could get someone good for Evan Mobley, just feel like we need more of an attack-minded individual because, sometimes it seems like he's the only question mark, on our team, right? So, all that being said, I mean, I like Jared Allen a lot. I think Jared Allen, you can see his impact, natural five. Evan Mobley's kind of like too small to be too thin to be a center almost, but not too thin, but he just doesn't have a center mindset, but he's also too slow to be a small forward, so it's like he's just kind of in that gray land of just tall guy standing there, kind of anybody can score on him, but kind of can't score on him because he's at least tall. That's pretty much where Evan Mobley is. He's not like Wembanyama. He doesn't have the three-point shot. He doesn't dribble well enough. But that being said, it's not easy to replace guys like these. It is harder to find Evan Mobley than it is to find Darius Garland. You see what I'm saying? Like a 6 foot point guard you can find anywhere. You can't just easily replace Evan Mobley, right? I think given that Jared Allen is so productive, this team might benefit from having a better three small forward instead of Evan Mobley being a power forward. Kind of clogs the paint a little bit possibly, but hard to say. James Harden is a much better facilitator of the basketball than Darius Garland. You can just tell that's just obvious. It just feel like younger players sometimes don't know when and how, where to pass the ball. It felt like he was kind of, him and Donovan Mitchell were clashing, but I feel like sometimes he was attacking out of rhythm, whereas James Harden smooths all that over. So the only question mark here is when do you get Mobley the ball? Because we know that Donovan Mitchell can, if we could just save him for the fourth we know that he can score the basketball. We know he can do that. Like, we're not worried about can Donovan Mitchell at least score 20 points. We know he can do that. So, that's the comfort level of it. And we know that James Harden can go for 11 assists, whatever. So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know. But, who knows? I mean, this is a business. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they do with the team. So, all that being said, we have a pretty deep team, but let's not kid ourselves here. Boston is very dangerous. Just seeing JT back. I don't know if Jaylen Brown is out there, but last highlights I saw of that team, I didn't see JB, but JT is scary. He's just scary. He's the best player in the East, and I think that's pretty indisputable. So then you have the Detroit Pistons, who I don't know. They kind of have some upper end Orlando Magic vibe where I feel like in the playoffs it becomes hard for them to score other than Cade Cunningham. Right? So, and JB Bickerstaff, the coach that we used to have, you might argue that they don't want to, They shouldn't have got rid of him in the first place, especially with us being on this side of this bracket. Losing to Toronto would be bad and possible because, like I said, I'm not as confident as everybody is or everybody feels like they should be. Toronto is a dangerous team. I mean, we can't sit here and act like they don't have three small forwards, and we have, who's a really reliable small forward here? We don't have anybody that's a small forward. Max Strus is really a two guard. Dean Wade moves like a four. So it's like, to me, this is three small forwards in Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, and I don't know if R.J. Barrett, I didn't see him in the last film I watched either, but between those three, I feel like R.J. Barrett's not that good of a scorer, though. You could argue that, or even Scotty Barnes. They're a little inconsistent, right? So it's not like we're playing against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but once again, I think the Cavs will, I don't know. Before I get into that, I just wanted to finish up saying, well, kind of already started the preview, but it's like the Raptors, they don't have a good guard. They don't have a guard that I feel like we're outclassing them as far as guards and centers are concerned, because we have the better two guards. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell should win their matchup every time. That's the thing. It's kind of and the same thing with Mobley and same thing with Jared Allen, because all they got low is Jakob Poeltl, who's a small forward in reality, who's with the body of a power forward. Kind of got some Mobley action going on there, but Mobley should be able to take advantage of Poeltl. He should easily be able to take advantage. Scotty Barnes, that might be his matchup. Shut him down sometimes, but I mean, Jared Allen should be able to take advantage of Poeltl, is what I'm trying to say. Because Mobley's probably going to draw Scotty Barnes, who beat him for the Rookie of the Year, controversially. But, so I don't know. I think when you look at the matchups, Cleveland has the more star power, right? The guard, I can't even remember his name, Quickly or something. No, not Quickly. Maybe Quickly. Regardless, their guards are not. You're not messing with the Cavs. And I feel like their depth is a little questionable, But Toronto, the crowd of Toronto is what scares me, because the Cavs, and I don't know, they look like a more nervous team. I think James Harden is helping with that a lot, but it feels like sometimes Donovan Mitchell is the only one that's not nervous. I mean, I'm just being honest with what I see on the film. So I feel like sometimes big-ass crowds like Toronto, it's not going to affect Donovan Mitchell or James Harden, though. That's the thing, because I think DG was a part of that, too. I feel like he was just young, nervous. Him, Mobley, and Allen. I feel like that was a three. I'm kind of glad they got rid of one of those three, because, I think with Mobley and Allen being harder to replace, they just come out. It's like in New York, why do I feel like they're nervous or something? Same thing in Boston. No, not Boston as much. Boston ain't that kind of city, really. It's kind of like that, but, I don't know. It's just feeling like those big games. I feel like Toronto is like a city that kind of is on par with, LA, New York kind of crowd, but they are just kind of college feeling, like still that nerdy, like, we're such hardcore fans. But I don't know. There's a big crowd in every city, but some cities just have stronger crowds. Cleveland is similar. I don't know. Not bad. Cleveland, pretty good crowd too. So I feel like just away, I don't feel like they play as well away on the playoffs. They really don't. But we'll see. So I think between Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, that could, it's like a low-level Boston Celtics. Or, basically, they're like a weaker version of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Except they don't have that Celtics intimidation. They are just kind of more inconsistent scorers, not quite as much star power. So I think, I think we shouldn't be super confident given how the bracket shakes out. 4-5 is dangerous regardless of the teams that are playing it. So this could easily go to 7 games, but for me, I'm going to take the Cavs. I'll say in 6 games. I'll say Cavs in 6, really. But this is going to test. This is going to be a test for Dean Wade and Max Strus, I think. But with Mitchell and Harden should be able to win their matchup. Same thing with Jared Allen. So that's three wins we should have in terms of the matchup. So I don't know. I feel decent about it. I never feel too confident talking about these kind of things, but like I was saying earlier, with being on this side of the bracket, is it good or is it bad? Avoiding the Celtics until the final round if we can get there, because we go from losing to the Raptors would be embarrassing for the Cavs organization. They probably will want to trade Mobley or something after that. I think Mobley is the one that probably has his head in the guillotine on the trade block based on his aggression. He seems to be the least aggressive. I feel like Jared Allen tries. I think he's a little bit more aggressive. I feel like sometimes I don't understand why Evan Mobley is not as aggressive. But I understand that he's tired from playing defense, and maybe that's just the limit of who he is, and that's fine, So, but I think he's the main one that would be on the chopping block of any of them, right? Which I have the Mobblers. It's a good time in Cleveland. Hey, look, we got James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. That's two shoe brand guys, so that's pretty cool. I mean, it don't matter though. It's a city. Pay the man and he'll play in the city. I mean, it's not that. It's like Cleveland, some special. Yeah, I mean, it's a place. So that being said, if we do beat the Raptors, you end up having to play JB Bickerstaff will be fired, and if we lose to the Pistons, I think that would also be tough. I mean, that would be tough. I mean, this is also assuming we can beat the Raptors. We don't want to just look past the Raptors. I mean, Raptors are dangerous. I mean, because they got here. They're the 5. And, the Pistons would be the 1. And still losing to them would be atrocious. It would be atrocious. It really would. So, I think we'll see what happens. And Celtics in the finals, palms are sweaty by that point because, I'm doing the whole playoff preview here because I'm not going to make a video regardless of when the Cavs get bounced out or not. I doubt I'll care enough to make a video about it. I like to make these videos when I feel like it right at the perfect time. So, I'll just talk about the whole playoffs because, look, yeah, not feeling great if they make it to the finals and it's the Celtics. Not feeling fantastic about that. Any other team would be better. I would feel better about the Knicks in the finals. I would hope the Knicks, someone could take the Celtics out would be nice because I just don't. I feel like Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, Cavs destroyers. They're the new LeBron. They're like the anti-LeBron. Like those years of LeBron destroying them, they are just they don't have they really do destroy the Cavs. Jason Tatum specifically, it's like nobody can guard him, not on the Cavs. I would feel much better about the Knicks or something like that. But that's if we can get through the Pistons and the Hawks. I mean the Pistons and the Raptors. So, we'll see, right? And then we're going to be hypothetical here. If they can beat them, Oklahoma City Thunder, if we could beat the Celtics, palms are sweaty. We'll see what injuries have occurred by then. If we could beat the Celtics, by the grace of our teeth, skin in our bones, nigga, and we end up having to play the Oklahoma City Thunder, palms are still very sweaty because it feels like Thunder's just on a whole different level. That's who I would anticipate coming out of the West. We know it ain't going to be LeBron because they lost to Doncic and the Lakers. So who else is a big deal out in the West? Well, let me look at the bracket here. I don't want to overlook anybody. Yep, Timberwolves, Nuggets. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the Nuggets beating the Thunder. Possible, though. Spurs. Can't overlook the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama. That would also be a team, because Wembanyama would be smashing on. But we, I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. It'll be very interesting going down the line here. Playoffs is always a great time in sports, man. We got basketball, baseball. Best part of the year to me. Football season is okay, but these are the best sports in my opinion. Baseball, basketball, man. So, anyways, bro, that ended up being longer than I anticipated. So, it's just a video, man. We're talking Cavs. So, hopefully them boys can do their thing, man. Big shout out to Cleveland, man. You know how we do it in Cleveland. Hopefully them boys can do their thing, though. I feel like that was a pretty comprehensive playoff preview about it, man. So, and let's see here. It's pretty annoying because the game is at... Let's see what the time of the games are. Oh, and shout out to LaMelo Ball. I ended up buying a pair of his shoes. I had to, upgrade my basketball shoe game because I was playing too much basketball. Ended up buying some LaMelo Ball shoes. I haven't really researched the player too much. But pretty cool player. They had to play in against the Hornets tonight, which I'm sure you can't watch any of this ever because it's a streaming service bidding war. You end up having to watch the highlights at this point, unless you can go to a bar or something and watch it. It's like nobody can get the game anymore because they're spread out on so many stupid platforms. It's ridiculous. But shout out LaMelo Ball. I like his play style. In real life, I play like LaMelo Ball. Didn't even know it's perfect. 1 of 1, not from here. Pretty saucy. Obviously the only good basketball player out of the trio of those brothers that came from the Baller brand or whatever. But his shoe brand is Puma, so a pretty good shoe. Pretty secure on the ankle. I just be walking into a store, I buy a shoe. Hey, it is what it is, man. I'm not even thinking about this that deeply. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I like the Magic though in that one. I mean, I just feel like the Magic they have more star power. You got Desmond Bain, Paolo Banchero, Wagner, Wendell, Carter. I mean, that's a pretty solid lineup, So I feel like that team is better than the Raptors. To be honest with you, they're just lower on the board. I'd be more afraid of playing the Magic than the Raptors, but I'm still afraid of the Raptors. That's what I'm trying to say. So Sixers ain't that big of a deal, but Hornets only got LaMelo Ball. I mean, that's pretty much it. But as far as the Cavs game times, let's see here what the Cavs are looking at here. 1 o'clock. Yeah, sure, I won't be able to watch this. I have to watch this, watch it as it's happening on my phone. See, they got a couple games that most of them are at 1 p.m. It's crazy if it ends up being a 7-game series. I don't know. I feel like that might not be in the Cavs' favor, but I feel like every team of humans comes out a little sluggish at 1 p.m. when you're used to playing at 7 and 8 every time. So that's a bit of a strange start time, but we know that the playoffs, and they got the Cavs on like some black backstreet app. You can't even find them. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not paying for 800 apps. Like, have fun with this. You can't even watch the Cavs anymore. But I don't like the start time. They have no respect for, it might be kind of boring. I mean, if it's a blowout, which would be nice. I mean, I hope it's a blowout. I would certainly hope, but we'll see what happens, man. All right, man. I think that's the end of my Cavs playoff preview, man. All right. Planet Zone, man. So like, subscribe, comment. More content like this all the time. Until the next one.